Well, isn't that awesome? I just now realized I had no mic. Okay, Lord, I'm going to capture this moment. Everybody's got to look, but nobody's heard a freaking word I said. That was on me. That was totally on me. Thank y'all for joining me. We will go back. I'm basically going to have to start it all over. And if anyone hung out for a whole 2 minutes of not hearing me say a word, oh my achievers. It's kind of been one of those mornings. If you have a pet, if you have a pal, if you have anybody in your life that is hanging out with you and you want to enter the contest, I would love for you to do so. Take a picture of your pet and email it. Take a picture of your order or your pet or your human, whoever you're doing Valentine's with. Make sure you email it to TRINA, pets@gmail.com, and Diana will get those. They will be on with us the 23rd of February to announce the winners, but the time is running short on this contest. Hopefully, Evan will be back on with us on Friday, and he will have a sweetheart of a deal for y'all. That's what I'm hoping. And to go back to what I was saying, that maybe if you're not a lip reader that you need to hear, is we have someone in our audience. She lost her sister. I put it on the bottom of the screen. So even if you didn't know what I was talking about, maybe you do. We want to pray and lift that family up in prayer. That is just a horrific, horrific way to pass. And it just breaks my heart for your family. And the one thing I did say that I will reiterate is she's no longer in pain. And living through the burn process of healing and everything, that is a painful, painful situation. So, we will lift your family up and pray for peace and healing in their hearts and give glory, because she had a lot of years that she had a good life. And we'll leave it at that. So that's kind of what I was saying in the beginning that nobody heard. Sorry about that. All right. I want to do one other thing really quick, and I'm going to try to do something a little bit different with it because it gets in trouble over on the whole YouTube side of things because it has music in the background. So I'm going to try to pause it and say something in between just to see if I can kind of keep the algorithm from catching all of that. We'll see. So I'm just doing tests today somewhat, y'all. I'm trying to be responsible. That's what our show's about.
It began with something simple. A cup of coffee.
Y'all can't hear that, can you? Isn't that interesting? That's what I was testing out in the beginning, and that's why my mic was muted. And try that again, just to see.
It began with something simple. A cup of coffee. Not just any coffee, but a cup that gave energy, focus, clarity, and helps to support healthy weight management. A coffee that set the tone for a joyful morning and a beautiful day ahead. That spark led to an idea. What if this daily ritual, the world's most loved, could become more than just coffee? What if it could bring people together? Friends, family, loved ones, one cup at a time. A vision was born. A vision of a community built on hope,
Oh my goodness, it totally muted me again. I'm going to hurry up and do this show because there is something in the works that I'm supposed to probably be saying today that I'm not sure y'all are going to hear, because there's some weird crap happening, that buttons I'm not pushing, things I'm not doing, and it's still doing it. The other part of the name of the show is The Buck Stops Here, because we're talking about responsibility. Can you hear me now? I need to know if y'all can actually hear me now, because it says I'm unmuted. I'm telling you, it just keeps going back and muting me today. I don't know. It's weird. It says there's 15 of you in the live chat over here and 4 over here in YouTube. Somebody needs to be giving me a smiley face if you can hear me, or a big old ear, or just type in there, hey, we can hear you. Because I need to know if you can actually hear me. Okay, thank you. Thank you. I know who you are. Thank you for helping me out. Oh my gosh. I'm going to have a sip of coffee because I'm trying to hold my cool, because right now, y'all, it can make me cuss a lot, not just a little. Okay, the buck stops here. That is a Harry S. Truman statement. Probably not one of my very favorite presidents, even a little bit, but it is a very true statement that I feel enough people, especially in the business world, as they move up the ladder, they do not have that mentality. I do believe that if more people, especially upper management into, the CEOs, the VPs, the presidents of all these companies, if that was truly their attitude, you would never come up with the thing that poop rolls downhill. And they would not have made that important, because they would have owned it and stopped it with them. So that's where I'm going with in saying that today, is the buck should always stop with the leader of an organization. And I don't care who the smallest person is that, you got your wrench hung in the cog of the wheel. You still, being the line leader, the VP, the president, ought to be able to say, you know what? I handed him that wrench. You know what? I could have pulled the plug on the machine and stopped it before it got hung in the cog. I just believe 100% that a lot of our leadership in America does not want to take responsibility. You look at what sits in Capitol Hill, and well, we don't know how that happened. We don't know how that passed. We don't know. You know what? You sat there and voted for it, or you didn't vote for it, whichever way it's going on that. You know exactly how that didn't pass, because you got on the phone with all your buddies and said, hey, let's not vote for that. I don't like that. The person who brought that bill to the floor, they're not a nice person, and they've done this to me, and they've done that, and I'm not voting for it. Doesn't matter about the American people. And it doesn't matter when those people go home to their constituents. They don't say, yeah, I didn't vote for that. I had an axe to grind with this person, and I just didn't vote for that. Now, did it raise your taxes, and did it do this, and did it do that? I'm sorry. I just couldn't vote for it because I didn't. The responsibility that these people should own would make a difference in how our nation and every organization is ran. So we're going to dive in. We're on number 16, y'all. We only got to go to 21. We're almost done. I'll have to find a new book. Oh, and speaking of this is the book. It's down below in the comments. There's a link if you want to pick it up. It's not very much, and it's not very long. I mean, y'all can tell it's a thin book. It's not a thick book. But John Maxwell will be in Arkansas, April the 22nd through the 24th, on my link tree, which I should have changed that out. Let me see if I can put my little banner up there and let it run. It has my link tree on it. Oh, that ain't the banner. Excuse me. My coffee drink didn't go down the right place. There we go. There y'all go. It's on my link tree. It's called Scale with Stability. It's an event that's going to be in Arkansas that if you've ever wanted to have the chance to hear John Maxwell speak, you should come. He's not getting younger. It costs a lot of money to bring him in for an event like this. And there's like 30 leaders that are going to be speaking those 2 or 3 days. Noah and I will be there. We would love to meet you. So if y'all decide you could come in, I mean, there's people coming from like 5 or 6 states. I mean, they're coming from all over the nation. But anywhere that's within a drive distance, if you can get in to see John Maxwell, you should. It is an experience. I'm not saying he's the end all be all and blah, blah, blah. But I am going to tell you, it is so worth your time. It is worth the money. It is worth the effort to make it happen. It is worth it. This book that we're going through was written in 99. He's been around a long time, y'all, teaching people how to lead. And I'm so excited because when I go to this event, how much more has he learned since the last time I saw him? I think the last time I saw him was probably about 07. I've seen him 2 or 3 times. I've been through some of his courses. And so I'm excited about seeing him. All righty. Responsibility. If you won't carry the ball, you can't lead the team. So we're talking about the things that we want to put into effect through our philanthropic endeavors or, just being a good leader, maybe even in your church, your community, different organizations. Success on any major scale requires you to accept responsibility. In the final analysis, the one quality that all successful people have is the ability to take on responsibility. And that's Michael Korda. He was with Simon, editor-in-chief of Simon & Schuster. And then John Maxwell's statement is, a leader can give up anything except final responsibility. I love where this was going, and I planned on doing a little bit more homework on it, but I let time get away from me because I've been working on some stuff just here in the house this week and did not. But we're going to touch on some of my history in just a second. But on a personal note, why this chapter absolutely hits home with me, and I'm talking like with a ball bat swinging out of the park. And thank you all for telling me you could hear me. I appreciate that. Because sometimes on this side of the screen, you just don't know. Is I made choices that got me into a life situation. And even though God can't get you out of everything, he can make you handle anything that you get yourself into and as you go through it. I'll just put it at that. And because of choices I made, I had consequences of the choices I made. And those were that level of responsibility landed on me, not any other human. So one of the consequences of my choice was that I had a baby really young. It was my responsibility to make sure she lived. It was my responsibility to make sure she was given life. It was my responsibility to make sure she got fed and changed, to the babysitter, picked up from the babysitter. It didn't matter who else was in the picture with me as a partner or not. It was my responsibility. Everything to do with her was my responsibility. And I mean, stupid things I look back on that, just to show you a couple examples. She went to kindergarten from another household one day, and they called me from the school, and I actually happened to be out of town with the job I had. So I couldn't go pick her up, but I sent my mom and my sister-in-law to pick her up. And I wasn't getting in until late that day. They told me she had head lice. And I'm just like, she was only gone for one or two nights. And I'm just like, there's no way that happened that quick while she was out of my care. And where she was a clean place and not around people that, and I'm not dissing that because I know it's like a rampant problem and your kid can get it at school, but she'd been gone over the weekend and this was a Monday. And I was just like, no way. And you know, it hit me hard because my responsibility is to make sure that my kid is clean and goes to school. And believe it or not, that crap is written up in their record on you. And whether, I mean, after my daughter being a school nurse for 10 years, people had to go to court to keep their children from being taken by Child Protective Services because of head lice. And even though I didn't know that then, I do now. But it still hit me in my gut because I would have been around 22 years old when this happened, that I had, you know, not had I wasn't a responsible parent if I let my kid have this happen. But the responsibility came back on me. And I was so beside myself. By the time I got home, we started washing her hair with baking soda to strip it. The home where she had been with her dad and her stepmom for the weekend, the stepmom doted on my child. She took her to get her pictures made all the time. She didn't have a little girl, and it was a long time before she had a child at all. And she would roll her hair with hot rollers, and she would tease my child's hair to where literally, y'all, my child looked like she was 20 years old because she had a lot of hair for being really little, and she did the 80s hair on her. You know, like big, lots of Aquanet or Rave, lots. And when I stripped her hair and washed it and got it clean, I carried her to school the next day. And I took her in the nurse's office and I said, you tell me where you see any head lice in this child's hair. Y'all, it was hairspray buildup. It was white things that you could just pull off the end of her hair, which I told them, I said, here they are. And I brought some on some tape and said, it's hairspray. It was not head lice. So at 22, the responsibility of taking care of this child weighed on me enough that I went and started fighting with the schools when I was 22 years old because I didn't want that in her file. And I didn't want that on me, that one day I didn't even know they could have taken her from me over something like that. Now, it's not just one time and random that they do things like that, but it builds up in the file if that's the case. So the responsibility of me being who I became, I bore responsibility from when I was a teenager until now about a lot of things. And that's funny because when Wayne and I dated, he really didn't know if he ever wanted children. He wasn't sure about her. And all right, I know that I'm going to say because it keeps timing me out. And I don't know if it's went back to working at Rumble. Oh, wow. What a day. What a day. But I told him, I said, you're too young. You can't handle all this responsibility. Because he had none. He had none. He had debt. He was a party boy. He liked having a good time. And it took him 4 years to get it to where I saw, and every time I prayed, God said, he's steady. He's steady. He didn't ever tell me he was responsible, but he said he was steady. He's learned some responsibility over the years, but it's a huge thing. I thought it was interesting, this story, though, that John Maxwell used to discuss this. And what's so bizarre is when I read this to you and I tell you who this man is in this story. I had someone a couple years ago, after all of this stuff started, the last 5 or 6 years that I've been a part of, that said it's in your DNA. It's come through a long line, and the mantle's been passed to you. It hit really hard. So when this was the story, which I'd forgotten all about, and I didn't know about my history when I read this book the first time. In late 1835, a group of Texas rebels lay siege to a small mission-turned fort in San Antonio, Texas. By the end of the year, the Mexican soldiers in it surrendered and headed south, leaving the fort in the rebels' hands. The name of the old church building was the Alamo. The action set the stage for one of the greatest heroic events in United States history. The battle that occurred there in February and March of the following year is a story of valor and incredible responsibility. The battle at the Alamo between American settlers and the Mexican army was inevitable. For 25 years, the citizens of Texas repeatedly attempted to gain their independence from the Mexican government. And each time, Mexican troops were promptly dispatched to suppress the rebellion. But this time, it was different. I know I keep freezing. I'm sorry, y'all. I can't help it. That's out of my control. The fort was manned by a resolute group of 183 volunteers. Volunteers, y'all. What have we told you over the last 5 years? We're a volunteer army of digital soldiers, including seasoned soldiers and frontiersmen, William Travis, Davy Crockett, and Jim Bowie. Their motto was victory or death. In late February, several thousand Mexican soldiers under the command of Antonio Lopez de Santa Anna marched on San Antonio and laid siege to the Alamo. When the Mexicans offered them terms for surrender, the rebel defenders held firm. And when the enemy told them they would be given no quarter if they fought, the Americans would not be moved. When it became certain that the battle was inevitable, the Texans sent a young man out to try to bring reinforcements from the Texas Army. His name was James Bonham. He slipped out of the old mission at night and made his way 95 miles to Goliad for help. But when he arrived, he was told that no troops were available. For 11 days, Santa Anna pounded away at the Alamo, and on the morning of March 6, 1836, the Mexican army stormed the old mission. At the end of the battle, not a single man of the 183 defenders lived, but they managed to take 600 enemy soldiers to the grave with them. You think about those numbers, 183, and they took 600. That was a moment in time that was worth the battle. And what happened to James Bonham, the messenger who had been sent to Goliad? It would have been easy for Bonham to simply ride away, but his sense of responsibility was too great. Instead, he rode back to the Alamo, made his way through the enemy lines, and joined his comrades so he could stand, fight, and die with them. Though the Americans were defeated at the Alamo, the battle was the turning point with the war with Mexico. Remember the Alamo became the cry in subsequent battles, rallying support against General Santa Anna and his troops. Less than 2 months later, Texas secured its independence. William Travis. For any of you that have not been on any of my social media, You'll see my name is Trina Travis. That was the name that I'm still known by most people in this town. When I go to different things, they go, "Oh, it's Trina Travis." I took my daughter to the Alamo when she was probably 8 or 9 years old. We went down and did a trip to, it's not Six Flags. It's the water one. And it's just gone out of my mind. But it's in San Antonio, right outside of San Antonio. There's one in Tampa. It's got all the animal, like whales and dolphins. It's not SeaWorld, is it? It's SeaWorld. SeaWorld in San Antonio. That's it. Thank you, Lord. But we went to the Alamo, and I was showing her that marker, and little did I know at that particular point in time, I go, "Oh, you're kin to him." She goes, "Shut up." And I go, "You really are." She went to school and told people, and then I told her, I go, "Oh, I was just kidding you." Come to find out, I had spoke that into existence as far as I knew in our brain. And so she was mad at me because she went to school telling people that. And then she had to go back and go, "No, my mom was just messing with me." Well, come to find out years later, like I'm talking in the last 5 years, I have found out we are actually kin to him. And the person that was telling me the story said, "Yes, that is your lineage." And they said, "Don't think that things don't pass down from generations, because exactly what he stood for, you're standing for still." And that just really hit me, that the responsibility of the last few years and what I have done and shared with all of you, it's been a calling. It's been a huge responsibility. That's one reason I'll get on here if I find out something that we put on Facebook or in our Telegram or we said on a show. If it's wrong, it benefits me nothing to let it lay there and somebody else to listen to it and hear something and go, "Oh my gosh." Now, do I get to correct it in that show? No, not always. But I am going to say, y'all, we got that so wrong. We messed that up. And during this last 5 years, there's things we've gotten wrong. I get things wrong every day. But the responsible person in me is the one that will call somebody and say, "Listen, I got to say, I'm sorry. I screwed that up." Or call them and say, "You know what? I got that totally wrong, and it's all on me." That's the difference of when one day I think the Lord can look at me and go, "Well done, good and faithful servant." That's what I need my edification from him, not anybody else. And when I get it wrong, I want people to know that it bothers me. There's some people that can just get on and just run their mouths and say whatever they want to say, and there's no accountability. It's like it doesn't even faze them. It phases me. It really does. So that's just an interesting little fact about me and the Alamo. Rarely in American culture today do you see the kind of responsibility displayed by James Bonham and his companions. People now focus more on their rights than the right of their responsibility. Reflecting on current attitudes, my friend Haddon Robinson observes, "If you want to get rich, invest in victimization. It's America's fastest growing industry." How many people over the last 5 years have played the victim card? I mean, how many different communities have played the victim card? And I'm not even being ugly, but I mean, we've watched Black Lives Matter, we've watched Antifa, we've watched the LGBTQ community, we've watched the whole debacle of the 4 year of a presidency situation that him or his VP, they played the victim card. Oh, well, it's those crazy conspiracy theorists. No, own your crap. Own that he didn't get out of a basement and go do any debates. Own that y'all wore masks to hide yourselves I mean, own your crap. He points out that millions of people are becoming rich by identifying, representing, interviewing, treating, insuring, and counseling victims. Good leaders never embrace victim mentality. When you allow someone to be in your organization, and I'm just going to say this because we are building a brand new from scratch business, that even though you're in business for yourself, it's not by yourself. And there have been times in learning the new system in this company and how things count and how things are looked at and how things are paid on, and different things end at the end of the week and certain things end at the end of the month, that I've messed up a thing or two. And I've just told them, I said, straight up, I'm learning this just like you right now. You give me 6 months, I'm going to have this under control and get this, and I will share that with you. But right now, I'm learning as fast as you are. But I take responsibility because I told you wrong. And I am so sorry. But the ones that get in and go, oh, well, you said it was going to be like this and you said this. Nope. You're in business for yourself, but not by yourself. You have to make phone calls. You have to hand out samples of coffee. You have to follow up with those people. After they drink your coffee, did you wait 2 months to ask them how they felt? 2 months later, I can't tell you in 24 hours how I feel almost. You better be following up in 24 to 48 hours and asking questions. I can lead, but you're needing to be a leader too. And to be a good leader, you have to accept responsibility. People face whatever life throws at them and give it their best, knowing that they will get the opportunity to lead the team only if they've proved that they can carry the ball. Wayne and I will grow leaders in our organization. And I hope we grow them because they saw how we handled situations and realized they're going to have those situations too, rather than getting offended and walking away when we lead with integrity and teach them responsibility. Take a look at the following characteristics of people who embrace responsibility. They get the job done. In a study of self-made millionaires, Dr. Thomas Stanley of the University of Georgia found they all have one thing in common. They work hard. You have to work hard. It took me 15 years working for a large organization to realize that in our society, you work 8 hours a day for survival. And if you work only 8 hours a day, all you do is survive. Everything over 8 hours is an investment in your future. No one can do the minimum and reach his maximum potential. That's why one of the things I always say, because we are building a home-based business, Wayne does his job all 8 hours. Then we work on our side hustle in the evenings. I'm available, that I get to work it throughout the day. But if you want a different life, you cannot punch a time clock from 9 to 5 and think that it's going to be all up to you and that your organization is going to give you the raise and put you through the roof and make you the CEO. Your people that climb that ladder, which is truly the pyramid of life for living JOB, just over broke, you have to be able to put the hours in, even to climb that ladder. But if you want a home-based business and you want to knock it out of the park, you still need to be working another 6 hours here and there to 10 or 12. You need to do that. If you want to be a multimillionaire in it, you better plan on working 20 to 40 hours on your side hustle on your own time outside your 9 to 5. Because we're in America. The American dream is possible. But where we've gotten it wrong is these people that come from other countries that are your nail techs, that are your cooks, that are your maids, that are your everything that they come into this country and do. they may do 2 or 3 jobs. Or your nail techs that go in and work the nail salons, they work 6 to 7 days a week. They usually don't even take a day off. A lot of our Mexican restaurants, they barely take time off. They bust their ends and they work a lot of hours. And then a lot of them do have secondary jobs because they want the American dream. The Americans are the ones that just think they can go 9 to 5 and come home and take care of all the bills and get the life they want. It's not possible. It's not going to happen. The responsibility that comes with growing your future to what you want it to be is going to be more than an 8 to 5, 40 hours a week only. How do people maintain a get it done attitude? They think of themselves as self-employed. And so that's like in corporate. You still got to think that you own the company. Do you waste Kleenexes? Do you take a stapler home? Do you do this? Do you do that? If you're self-employed, you want to take care of that company like it's yours. And the reason I'm going over this so thoroughly is as we build organizations that we want to help build the kingdom and help other people, help the homeless, help the vets, help, build a better dog shelter, any of that, you're going to have this mentality for all the people that you bring into that organization. Then you've got to teach them this. They've not been taught, most of them. They don't understand that kind of responsibility. They've never been employed by someone that wants them to succeed, to them to become the leader on their shift, the leader at the organization, the leader at the one that is in the town where they're at. So you can go open another one in the town next door and then pull them over there to train their leaders. You're going to have to teach people how to have responsibility because we live in an era and a time when they aren't being taught that very well. 2, they are willing to go the extra mile. Responsible people never protest. That's not my job. They're willing to do whatever it takes to complete the work needed by the organization. If you want to succeed, be willing to put the organization above your agenda. 3, they're driven by excellence. Excellence is a great motivator. People who desire excellence and work hard to achieve it are almost always responsible. It's funny that something that just hit me. I had a phone conversation with one of the leaders in our Republican Party here in Arkansas yesterday. And she's a leader in our district. And I was having the conversation with her and she goes, "You're really not thinking about leaving?" And I said, "Well, I'm not real happy. I'm not happy with the leaders we have in the Republican Party here. I'm not happy with the National Republican Party and how they're dealing with things. I'm truly becoming a complete independent. I'm not happy with a lot of it." And her words to me was, "You cannot leave us. You have skills that we need." Because I've done certain things in the organization and I did it like it was mine. I made it come out successful. So she knows that I'm responsible enough that she could hand me a credit card to go pay for stuff at this event, that I turned in all my receipts. There was accountability for all the stuff we got done. There was deadlines met. She knows the responsibility that I carry is the weight of my worth in this organization. And I'm not saying that to pat myself on the back, y'all. I'm not. I'm using it as an example that people will see your worth when you're responsible and you lead with excellence. 4, they produce regardless of the situation. The ultimate quality of a responsible person is the ability to finish. I will say that's probably my biggest negative on my responsibility factor is I start a lot of things that I want to finish and make them be quality, but I get so wrapped up in the quality and excellence that I will end up with so many things on my plate trying to get certain things done correctly and perfect that some things never get finished. That is one of my huge flaws. And I have learned not to get so many things started at once, and to get the right people in the right place to help me with finishing some of the things that I could be okay with them being not excellent. There's some things that I still control that needs the excellence, but there's some things that I learn you put the right people in the position to handle it for you. If you want to lead, you have to produce. And so I've learned that all the production part doesn't have to be me, but I have to have the right people that will produce that outcome perfectly there, or as perfect as I can live with it. Let's put it that way. When an archer, from Gilbert Arlen, his advice is, when an archer misses the mark, he turns and looks for the fault within himself. Failure to hit the bullseye is never the fault of the target. To improve your aim, improve yourself. And that's so true. Whether you're throwing axes, darts, bow and arrow, shooting pool, shooting a gun, you have to be able to hit the target. That's on you. That's your skill. That's your responsibility. It's up to you to become better, not for the target to be still or to be bigger or to move closer. It's up to you to be able to hit that target no matter what the circumstances are. Click that. Are you on target when it comes to responsibility? Do others see you as a finisher? Do people look to you to carry the ball in pressure situations? Are you known for excellence? If you haven't been performing at your highest level, you may need to cultivate a stronger sense of responsibility. I ask all of you to ask yourself some of those questions. Are you able to lead? Or do you need to work on looking inside to see what you could bring to the table, and not just bring it and set it on the table? Do you have the silverware laying right? Is it polished? Is the napkin in the right place? Is the glass at, 2 o'clock or 10, depending on which glass? Is it set excellent? Is the set in your life excellence that without a doubt, when everything changes and you can go forward and build you a team, are you ready for it? If not, please start working on yourself and get ready, because it gets closer, not further away, every single day. To improve your responsibility, do the following. Keep hanging in there. That's number one. Due to persistence, difficult circumstances can be due to persistence problems. When you quit being persistent every day, the squeaky wheel gets the oil. If it squeaks every day, and it squeaks every day, and it squeaks every day, that persistence is going to get oil from me. I'm just going to tell you, because it makes me crazy. When I go to people's houses, I've got these friends and they got this door. And that door, every time Wayne gets up before me and he opens the door, it goes. We had done this for 2 years. That when we stayed in this room at this house, that door did that. So the last time we were there, I didn't know if they had WD-40. I couldn't find it. So I went and got the Pam cooking spray, and I went upstairs. I put a towel around the hinges, and I sprayed the hinges with cooking oil. The door does not squeak anymore because it was persistent, and I took the responsibility to fix it. So click that. Stop and figure out how to succeed. Think outside the lines. Can you work through the night? Can you call a colleague to help you? Can you hire a staff member to find a volunteer to help? Creativity can bring responsibility to life. Admit what's not good enough. If you have trouble achieving excellence, maybe you've lowered your standards. looking at your personal life for places where you've let things slip. I'm having to go back and redo some of that with this new company we're being a part of, because over the last 5 years, the responsibility has been to the show and to a lot of people in my audience. But I've let a lot of things slip that made me be a more excellent one-on-one leader and to lead a group that personally or financially benefiting from the skills that I can help them with. So I'm having to do a whole check on me right now over that. Find better tools. If you find your standards are high, your attitude is good, and you consistently work hard, and you still don't achieve the way you'd like, get better equipped. Improve your skills by taking classes, reading books, and listening to tapes. Find a mentor. Do whatever it takes to become better at what you do. Find good books. Be a student without having to go and pay admission for college. If you're going to pay for something, pay for going to leadership classes. Pay for getting involved in think tank groups. Go volunteer for your Chamber of Commerce and become part of the ambassador committee. There are so many things that you can do that don't actually cost money. They cost your time. They cost your effort. But be willing to do whatever it takes to make yourself be a quality leader. But be willing to open your heart and your mind to take on the responsibility. Whether it's great and you get cheered and you get accolades, or whether you get booed and you get your butt chewed and you just drive the car in the ditch and it takes, a semi tow truck to get you out. Just be able to own it. Own it, good or bad. Sometimes asking permission is really hard and getting forgiveness is easier. But whether you're needing forgiveness or permission, be the responsible person that you can live up to it no matter which the results are. So that's my 2 cents on my words of wisdom on your, not a Wednesday, but a Thursday. And thank you for hanging out on Dare to Dream. I am going to try to do this video really quick. And since the way it's coming up, it's not really letting me very well stop it in the middle, because I wanted to stop it like every 25 seconds just to see if that would mess with the algorithm. But we'll see if it can slide through anyway. For some reason, even on background music that other people use for videos that they have paid for, because this company would have paid for using this because it's on their actual website. I don't know why it is doing this, but it is.
It began with something simple. A cup of coffee. Not just any coffee, but a cup that gave energy, focus, clarity, and helps to support healthy weight management. A coffee that set the tone for a joyful morning and a beautiful day ahead. That spark led to an idea. What if this daily ritual, the world's most loved, could become more than just coffee? What if it could bring people together? Friends, family, loved ones, one cup at a time. A vision was born. A vision of a community built on hope, joy, respect, and care for one another. A vision where every sip doesn't just make you feel better, but connects you to something bigger. A lifestyle rooted in balance, well-being, and abundance. And so it started. One friend sharing with another, one story leading to the next. One community of coffee lovers growing into something powerful, a movement. That movement became Agora Life. Agora is derived from 2 Greek words, agora, a community marketplace, and agape, selfless care for others. Together, they embody a place where people come together to share products, purpose, and life. We are more than just a coffee company. We're a community that elevates life with great products, a powerful opportunity, and a purpose to make the world a little better for everyone we meet. This is Agara Life. Join us on our mission to elevate life, one sip at a time.
Awesome. Well, we'll see how that goes. And yes, that's what's in my cup this morning. I do love it. I do love the benefits from it. It is an infused or enriched or enhanced coffee, whichever one of those adjectives you would like to use. It is not a normal coffee. It has a blend of supplement and botanicals in it that do affect a lot of things in your life. So if you would like free samples, feel free to send me a DM or an email at heroandmore@gmail.com. I don't know if that is on any of my banners I can throw up there. I'll look real quick. But if you will send me a thing, I'd be happy to send you free samples to try. And I am not seeing it. There it is. Let me throw that up there real quick. There you go. Send me an email. I'll be happy to send you some free samples. One thing I do want to tell anybody, if you are looking for a side hustle, we are building an incredibly large team across America. I'm so excited about some of you that have come on as partners with me in that and are taking this amazing blend across the nation to get it out. We're soon to be in other countries in the next probably quarter. But what is most exciting, if finances are tight and that's something you want to change for your family, we are currently still in the position of you becoming a founder in the company. Now, there are certain things that you have to do to check those boxes. I'd be happy to have that discussion with you. You can email me about that also. But until February 28th, which when that date happens, the company launches live. There will be no more positions for founders. As a founder, it leaves you in the position that every year that this company is in business, for the potential to earn points, to get into a pool where it's founders bonuses. So if you are interested in that at all, please send me an email or a DM, and I'll put that back up there real quick. heroandmore@gmail.com. If you want to send me your address or ask questions, I'd be happy to answer them. I'm going to throw this one back up there really quick. There's my puppy, and he's so cute. You're supposed to be sending what would be a dating profile for your Palantine. It can be your human one. If you want them on a dating profile, make them look really silly or cute, because that's what's going to be being voted on. And if you are on a subscription order already, or you do get subscribed to anything that's coming, like any of the mushroom stuff from the pet company, you can order TRINAWPets.com, DallasPets247.com, and you send us your pictures, one or two. To get 2 entries, we need 2 pictures, your screenshot of your order and your pet. Send them to TRINAWPets@gmail.com, because Diana gets those, and she's the one that holds the purse to all those goodies for all of that stuff, and they'll be on the 23rd to tell us about it. With that being said, let's dismiss with a word of prayer. One more sip, y'all. And thank you for bearing with me today, because I don't know what was up with the mic continually going back to being muted. When I played it this time and when I went to the pet thing, it didn't mute me this time. I know that everything was pixelating earlier, and I'm sorry, y'all. I just remember, Satan is the power and the principality of the air. He handles some of the frequency stuff, and he handles some of the audio, and he handles all the wavelength stuff. So hopefully everything I said went from my mouth to your ears, and it made them happy and not sad. And if it did jerk a sad spot and you think, oh, I could do that better, dive in. See what the Lord has for you. See what you can do to put into your path to make things different for how you handle a situation. Heavenly Father, I thank you so much for each and every person that dropped in and was able to hear this show and possibly share it with someone that might mean something to their life. Father God, I pray for a hedge of protection around each and every one of them, around all of our families that are a part of this show. Lord, I pray for healing from the tip of their toes to the top of their head, that by the blood of Yeshua, that they would right now receive complete healing for any ailments in their body. I pray for their loved ones that are going through times of trials and difficulties. We know that there has been several deaths in our community online, and we just pray, Lord, for the peace beyond all understanding for their families, and Father, that you're just the love of their life, and the send angels to wrap their arms and their wings around them and embrace them at this point in their life where they're sad and dealing with some of this loss. And God, replace it with joy, because we know that just like the sun, joy is going to come. It's going to come back to them. But more than anything, the joy of knowing that that loved one's with you, Lord. And that's what our goal should be, is to make sure we offer the chance of eternity for each and every human being on this planet that we meet. God, give us your mouth, give us your eyes to see, give us your ears to hear, and let us approach subjects like we are your children and we are working on this earth on your behalf. We thank you for all the time that you bring us together. And we just give you glory and honor. In Jesus' name, amen. Thanks, y'all. We will see you tomorrow. Have a great day. Bye.